in this room, what better thing to drink your coffee out of than this BC coffee tumbler? You know it's good when it probably weighs more than the average human head. This thing is heavy, okay? So come see me after the service. I'd love to be able to put one of these in your hand and just welcome you and thank you for being with us this morning. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to be here, so that gets me pretty excited. Couple of announcements now while we're doing the act of fellowship. So under every single under one of the chairs somewhere in front of you, you're going to find a black binder. This is our act of fellowship. If you could locate that black binder for us, it would be somewhere underneath the chair in front of you, and register your attendance with us. That would be great. You're going to notice, church, that in there's an opportunity to check off for either the primetime or life group ministry. That's ages 50 and up. Pastor Rich and his wife, they take a lot of the primetime life group people on some pretty cool trips. They actually just did a trip to the Gettysburg Museum not too long ago, which is really, really fun. So he does stuff like that all the time, and as Pastor Rich would say, he'd rather do it with you than without you. So if you're interested in some more information, right next to your name, check off in that box, give us a phone number and an email, and Pastor Rich will add you to the list and let you know what's coming up. For the rest of us, just a couple of other announcements I want to make mention of. There's going to be a poinsettia sale today after church in support of our Boy Scout ministries. Are the Dispensas in here? That's the Dispenza family in the back. They are part of our Boy Scout ministry here, along with Dan Palillo and Dave Barkley and a few other men in leadership. But this is a ministry that's near and dear to Bethany's heart. We believe in empowering young men to know what it is to walk like a man and to live like a man of God. Especially in now, today and age, because how many of you realize, church, that manhood is under attack in this country, right? So we want to raise up godly men who love the Lord and who will serve Him with faithfulness in their hearts. And so I love the Boy Scouts, so let's bless them after the service. If you like poinsettias, there's a couple that you can actually purchase today and take home with you today, and then there's a few that they'll put on order and we'll have here in the next couple of weeks. But they'll be out in the cafe if you're interested in supporting them. And then just one more announcement I want to make mention of. I sent out a bunch of postcards, but some of you said you didn't get them. So after church today, if you've been attending Bethany within the last 6 months, we're having a welcome to church party. We want to have an opportunity for you to meet the leadership here at Bethany Church, myself, my wife, Pastor John and Susie, and some of our leadership here. We just would love for you to meet. So after church is over today, if you are new at Bethany within the last 6 months, you are welcome to come downstairs and join us for some lunch and fellowship as we just get to know one another and just let you know a little bit more about who we are here as a church at Bethany. So after second service is over, you can feel free to head on downstairs. And now what I want to do is, before we go into a time of greeting, I want to invite Pastor Susie to come up because she has an announcement of her own she wants to make.
Thanks, Pat. I just want to invite all you ladies out to our annual Christmas fellowship. It's going to be held Tuesday night, December 12th, here at our campus at 7 o'clock. Next week, we'll have a sign-up in the foyer, and you can choose to bring a dessert or an appetizer would be great. This year, we're going to have a special guest speaker. One of my dear friends, Michelle Struss, is going to come and share her story, and she's going to share an encouraging message for us for this Christmas season. So please mark your calendars for Tuesday, December 12th. I'd love for all you ladies to come out. It's a fun night. It's a great night to just come and take a deep breath and get away from all the busyness of the holiday season and gather as the women of our church. So I really hope to see you there. Thank you. And meet and greet one another.
Amen. Well, good morning, everybody. Looking forward to diving into our Christmas series. I cannot believe it's Christmas already. Hard to believe, huh? It comes fast, doesn't it? How many of you guys have already charged the malls? You can be honest, huh? You already hit those Black Friday sales. So nobody in this whole place is going shopping already. Give me a... Come on now. I know. You know, usually Susie's always, well, this year things have been a little crazy, but she usually heads out and does that, and it's a great time. This series we're going to talk about some gifts, and some of you guys probably went out to go shopping to buy some gifts, and don't gifts and Christmas, they just go together, don't they? It's kind of why we do this. I came across an article not too long ago that talked about gifts, and it was from the Guardian newspaper, and they went and they did an experiment. It was done with college students. How many know if you ever want a good experiment, go to college students, right? A good place to find some stuff out. It was called The Psychology of Wrapping Paper. And it was an experiment that involved 100 students from Southern Methodist University, from SMU. And this is what happened. They were all given a test to do, and it was part of a survey that they would fill out. They would get the information. But what they didn't know is that was just a front for the real test. The real test was they were going to give everybody a gift for participating in the survey, and the gift would be a sheepskin bicycle seat cover. That was what the gift would be, okay? And so as they filled this out, they gave it to them. And what they did is they broke the group into 3 different parts. And so the first portion of the students that took this survey, as they gave them this gift, but they just gave it in the plastic it came in. They said, thank you for doing the survey, and they gave them the gift, and it was just in the see-through plastic that you could see what it was, and they took it, and they said thank you. The second group that came through, they put a little bit of time into the wrapping, and they put it in a little bit nicer wrapping and gave it to them as a gift. And then the third group, what they did is they got a box for it, a really, really nice box. And they put nice wrapping papers and bows on it with a big thank you to it. And this is how they gave them. So they broke down giving the same gift in 3 different ways. And after this was said and done, a person came over to them and they opened the gift and they said, well, why don't you rate the gift we gave to you? We're interested to see if you liked it. Well, the survey was pretty remarkable. The first people who just got the gift in the wrapping that came in the plastic bag it came in, they really weren't all that happy with the gift. They said, this really serves very little purpose for me. And they were just okay. They said, thank you for giving us a gift. You didn't have to do anything, but we were thankful for the gift. The people who had a little bit nicer wrapping, they kind of felt the same way, but they said, thank you again for giving the gift, and we appreciated it. They had more of an appreciation. But the people who got the gift in a box wrapped with nice wrapping paper with a nice bow, put together well, they actually came back and said that they really liked the gift that was given to them. Now, incredible, right? And so they were actually absolutely delighted with the gift of the sheepskin bicycle seat cover. They were delighted with it. Now, here's the moral of the story. Number 1, I'm in deep trouble this year. Because wrapping is not my greatest asset as a husband and a father. I kind of get that paper and a whole lot of duct tape, you know? And I've fallen in love with these little bags, you know? You get the bags, you put it in, stuff some things in there. That works out as good as anything I've ever imagined. But the real moral of the story is this, that gifts, how the gift comes wrapped definitely assigns a different value to it, right? And so if this applies to gifts that come from people, it must also mean the same concerning the gifts that come from heaven. And so this is what we're going to talk about. The series is all about when God sent His Son as the Savior of the world. He sent Him wrapped in incredible adornment of hope, love, joy, and peace. You see, in the person of Jesus, God sends us His gifts, and we call these the gifts of Christmas. And now here's how we're supposed to receive these gifts from God. We are to receive them. How many of you guys like receiving gifts, right? We all do. Like 5 of you. Yeah. We want to receive them, open these gifts, use them, and live them out. And so this series, what we're going to do is we're going to help you learn how to do that. These gifts actually describe us and help us define what Christmas is all about. Because how many know sometimes we miss the big purpose of Christmas so often in life? And so my goal over the next several weeks is to really hone our minds in to what Christmas is all about. Because in the midst of Lots of decorations. How many of you guys have already started decorating your homes? Right? Lots of people, some of you probably have your homes decorated for 2-3 weeks. That's okay, you know, all good. In the realm of endless Hallmark Christmas movies, come on now. I think I saw last night that there was a new Hallmark movie being recorded on my DVR last night as I was flipping through what we recorded. It shows what's being recorded. I think she already clicked on a new one, so that's going to happen. In midst of all the shopping that has to be done, all the foods, all the parties, all the Christmas music, right, that's going to be going on. Now, how many of y'all love Christmas music? We have this new thing in my house right now. Now, I promise you, I'm not the Grinch. I'm not, okay? I love Christmas time. But I don't really love Christmas music. The people say, boo, you know. So, you know, the biggest thing is, we've had Christmas music on for 3 weeks, you know. She's like, oh, you know, it's on the stations. And people say, how can you not love Christmas music? Well, here's the deal with me, okay? I love music, and I love good music, right? And if you're really honest with yourself, much of Christmas music is not good music, right? I tell Susie this all the time. She loves it, and we have it going on. I said, if this song was not about Christmas, you would never listen to this. It's just terrible. Like, there's no melody, there's no nothing. This isn't good music. So now we have this whole thing in our car, and we have Christmas music on all time of the year right now, and with our family. If it's just me, it's back to sports radio. But if it's with the family, so the boys now are telling me all the time, as soon as the song comes on, Daddy, do you like this song? And I'll listen to it for a few minutes, and the answer will either be like, yeah, this is a good song. It's got a good melody to it, or no. I do not like the song. And then Sammy cries, but I love Christmas music, Daddy. I'm like, it's just a song. Like, we're gonna be okay, we're gonna get through this. You know. But in the midst of all of the busyness of Christmas, right? And all things going on, sometimes I want to stand up and I want to be like Charlie Brown. Come on now. I want to be like Charlie Brown, and I want to say, does anyone really know what Christmas is all about? Right? How many guys have seen the Christmas story, right? Peanut, Charlie Brown Christmas. Did you know it's been running since 1965? Right? Over 50 years it's been running, and it should be an annual tradition watching Charlie Brown Christmas. And the Peanuts creator, Charles Schultz, he had this unorthodox idea of this Christmas special that he would do with his Peanuts characters. And the first thing was he would put a nice jazz soundtrack underneath it. He put good music underneath it, right? Good. And he would say, and I'm not going to put any laugh track, which would, at that day and age, everything had a laugh track underneath it. And he goes, I don't need to tell people when they're supposed to laugh and when they're not supposed to laugh. People can figure it out for themselves if it's funny or not. So he didn't want to do that. He wanted to have a nice jazz soundtrack after it. And then he said, but most importantly, in the midst of this, I want to make sure that the true Christmas story is presented, complete with a scene straight from the Bible. And the TV producers, they said, listen, we obviously everybody loves Peanuts, and we all love Charlie Brown, we all love Snoopy, we all love the whole thing, but I don't think this is a good idea. But he insisted that this had to take place, that they had to do this, and there would be a Bible reading on national TV. And the producers, they said, you're going to get a lot of kickback from this, people aren't going to like this. But he insisted on it, and if you've ever seen this, and so here's Charlie Brown, and he's in the midst of that Christmas chaos I was talking about, and we're all kind of probably ready to get into it, and he's in the trappings of Christmas, but none of these things are satisfying him for what Christmas is all about. And so when he wonders aloud what Christmas is all about, his buddy Linus, right, with his blanket, comes in, and he sets the stage to tell everybody what Christmas is all about. How many of you guys love this whole scene, right? So we're going to look at Luke chapter 2 today, and that's where we're going to spend our time. But instead of me reading the Christmas story, I thought it would be great to hear Linus read the Christmas story, right? You all love this, so you guys watch this, and then I'll have some thoughts.
Lights, please. And there were in the same country shepherds, abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them. And the glory of the Lord shone round about them. And they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God, and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown.
I like that, right? That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown. Well, today I want to unpack what I believe one of the first gifts and explains what Christmas is all about. It's God's gift of hope. And I love this little story because Charlie himself, he goes from being depressed to inspired. He goes from being inward focused to outward focused and sharing the season with others. He goes from hopelessness and frustration to hopefulness and contentment. And this is the goal for us over the Christmas thing. We want to take that same journey with our friends here, that we don't take Christmas for granted. It's so easy to get so busy during this season that we miss the whole thing of what it's all about. So here's what we're not going to do. You don't have to get rid of all the other things that would go with Christmas. They're great fun. They're good. But we have to understand that there's more to it than that. Amen? There's more to it than just the things that take place. And so we're going to be talking about hope. We're going to be talking about love, peace, joy. A few of the things that the Bible says that they are the indescribable gifts. And on Christmas Eve, we're going to be together here on Sunday morning, and I'll be sharing a little bit about the indescribable gifts. And these gifts, they only come from God. You know, they only can be found in the person of Jesus. And now we often refer to this time as Advent. How many of you guys kind of have an Advent system? You have a countdown. Maybe you do the candles and you walk. So I like the concept of Advent. It's a countdown to Christmas. It's actually quite biblical because this word, it really means a coming or an arrival, which is really what Christmas was all about. It was an arrival or it was a coming of the Messiah. And a Christmas story is really about Jesus coming as a baby, his arrival. And then we also know that now, as we count down towards Advent, there will be another coming. Amen? There will be coming, not Jesus coming as a baby, but Jesus coming as a conquering king. That really is our hope that we live for. The Bible simply calls this a blessed hope. It's what's the foundation of what our Christian faith is all based on. And as I look at this world today, and you turn on social media, you turn on the news, our world needs hope. And they don't just need hope, they need blessed hope. And I think if you and I were honest with ourselves, and I think if we really evaluated our Christmas season, maybe we're out with our life, maybe we could use a little hope again in our life. Amen? Of what we're going through. And this is what Jesus wants to do. And so I love looking back at some of the prophetic words about Jesus. In Isaiah, I'm going to share several scriptures with you out of Isaiah. And it says a lot of these. Isaiah 9:2 says this, "The people walking in darkness has seen a great light. On those living in the land of deep darkness, a light has dawned." And so this is what we're praying for in the midst of darkness. We're praying for a light that has dawned. And if you look around us, it sure seems dark right now, right? But a light is dawning. And so in the midst of busyness of the season, we are called to sharpen our focus on what God has called us to do. And so this season, this is what I want to invite us as a church to do. To look a lot deeper at the meaning of Christmas. Let's really focus in on what God has called us to do. And I love a Christmas celebration that talks about God bringing hope. Hope to us, hope to our world, hope to people who have the darkness of bad memories, darkness of pain, of life experiences. They have the darkness of chaos and busyness in their life. And so we're called to bring hope into those situations. And here's the first thing we have to do one to another is we have to define hope a little bit, right? Because I think that the way the world sees hope is very different than the way we see hope. I mean, this word hope is actually thrown around all the time, but I'm not sure it's what we're really talking about today. I mean, you probably hear statements like this all the time. Hey, I hope it doesn't rain, which is like a daily prayer for me. Rain and snow are not my thing. I hope it doesn't rain. Hey, I hope I get a job. I hope I win the lottery. I hope the economy gets better. I hope my date shows up. I hope the Jets win a Super Bowl. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong sermon. That one is called When You Need a Miracle. Wrong message. But you have worldly hope. Worldly hope is based on very different things. They're characterized by doubt, by uncertainty, and lack of control. When we look at worldly hope, it may or it may not happen. It's kind of like throw it up in the wind and see what happens, and that's kind of the hope. I hope this happens, we'll see what happens. But when I talk about Jesus, hope is not tied to earth or the world's uncertainty. Rather, hope of the Lord is tied to a heavenly hope. It's tied to heavenly promises that Jesus made. It's a no-so, not a maybe-so. Right? And so many people live their life with maybe so, but we are called to live in a hope that we know so. So here's what I want to do today. I'm going to give you really 3 simple concepts today as we look at hope. And we're going to look at, in a Christmas mindset, how we can look at hope from a past perspective, a present perspective, and a future perspective, and how God can help us really in this thing. And so we're going to look first at hope past. And I want you to ask you this question. What is the longest you've ever waited for something? What is the longest? Is there anything that you feel like you've been waiting